Hey everybody, it's Dave coming at you today from a very cloudy and cool Zone 5B outside the southwest suburbs of Chicago, Illinois, and just doing some more garden prep this weekend. We still haven't hit those warm temperatures, so I can't get my tomatoes and peppers and other plants in the ground, so I'm doing what I can with the resources I have. Using my backyard porch greenhouse to help try to harden off my seedlings that are getting larger. I have radishes growing in a container, some beets growing in another container. Just last night I put some onions in this deck rail planter, have some lettuces over here, and I did get my seed potatoes bagged to go. As far as the garden itself goes, the 3 raised beds ready for planting. We're a little too cold for those tomatoes and peppers, but I did put some marigolds in there. I also seeded for some more marigolds and some basil and some oregano and thyme. Sorry about that, the dog was playing with the neighbor dog. We do have my grapevines that I planted in the ground just about a month ago. Another marigold, one beet survived my planting. I do have an arch trellis for the grapevines, and then one broccoli that I uppotted probably about a month ago. It did suffer some sun damage since I didn't harden it off the right way, but it is doing pretty well right now. I also planted some asparagus crowns, and you see I do have little asparagus started already. We're doing what we can do, even though the weather isn't as warm as we would like yet. We have our 5-gallon bucket holder and trellises already, and of course the chickens and the dog are running around on the side of the house. I have moved some of my potted trees and plants to the south side of the house where they're going to get a little bit more sunlight. You guys have all seen the apple tree before, the cherry trees. This is another apple tree, my other cherry, blueberry. I do have that blueberry that's not showing any signs of life, so I'm pretty sure that it is dead. And then the 2 blueberries that have shown life. And then over here on my peach tree, I actually have a bunch of little peaches growing. The overwintered peppers don't look like they survived. I have not seen any signs of life out of them yet. And last night we did get a little chilly, down around 40 degrees. So I moved the Meyer lemon and the blood orange inside, so they didn't suffer any cold. Since that one blueberry on the side of the house looks like it might be dead, I did go to a big box store today and picked up another blueberry plant to replace it. This will be my first year growing blueberries, and I think the container size is probably a little big for the container that I had that dead blueberry in, so I'm going to put it in one of my newer pots that I'd gotten for the trees originally that were the wrong size for the trees. Other than that, we do have a lilac bush that is in full bloom in front of the house, and my rose bushes that are growing crazy out of control. I do have to look into pruning the rose bushes in the fall so I can get those to a more manageable size. But for now, I'm pretty happy with the way they're growing. This is the pot that I'm going to use to put that new blueberry in. I do have a bag of mushroom compost that I'll mix with perlite just for a little compost, and then put some acid loving soil mix to get that started. As soon as I get it potted up, I will come back and I will show you guys the end result. Stand by. Alright, I am back. So what I've done is I went ahead and mixed some of that mushroom compost into the bottom of the hole. Put some perlite in there as well to help with the drainage, because I want to make sure that this is going to drain well. The soil I'm using is the soil that I bought specifically for blueberries, because they do love acid, so they need a little bit more acidic soil. I put a little bit of Hollytone, which is fertilizer for acid-loving plants, in there, along with a little scoop of earthworm castings and some bone meal to help get this started. And now, to make the hole, I put the pot in there and filled up around it, and that left me a nice little indent that should be the perfect shape for the plant when I remove it from this container. So let's see if we can get it out of here in one piece. I'm going to tip it upside down. Came right out, and the roots don't look bad. Not a huge root ball on this, but I think that will be okay. Put that in our hole and press down firmly. And then we're going to fill in with a little bit more of our soil. We did get some rain, so the soil is nice and moist. I am going to top this off like I did all my potted plants with some pine shavings for mulch. And then this will go on the side of the house, the south side of the house, where it's going to get plenty of sunlight. I will put the tag back in there. This is one of the Northland blueberries, which are hardy, cold hardy to zone 5, actually down to zone 4, I believe. So it should grow well here. And you see this young one actually does have some blueberries that had already started. So hopefully this one will thrive and we will have success with that. I will keep you guys up to date on that as we go along. And really, the thing, now that my hands are all dirty, the thing that I really love about gardening is there is no one size fits all when it comes to gardening. If you watch YouTube channels like I do, it can be really intimidating when you see all these really successful YouTubers and the size of their garden, and you see how ones are doing. You don't have to grow like anybody else. A couple of my favorite gardeners have actually talked a lot more recently. Millennial Gardener, on his most recent video, he talks about failure. He talks about some of the failures that he's had with plants that he's grown with some of his trees. So check that out if you get the chance. Brian over at Next Level Gardening started a new series on gardening for small spaces. And you can really grow in whatever size you have. You don't have to have a huge yard. You don't have to have a lot of ground space. You can grow in 5-gallon containers, which you guys see me do all the time. That'll be a little more obvious once I do get my tomatoes in the ground and you see all of them growing in my 5-gallon buckets. You can grow trees in containers, even if the trees aren't necessarily native to your area. You might have to take special precautions, like moving them into a garage in the winter if you're up in zone 5B like me. But there are ways to do it. There are ways for every budget. There are ways for every size yard. There's ways for every desire. So again, if you guys have the urge to garden, if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. Check out some of these other YouTube channels. See what it's all about. And you'll see pretty quickly that, again, there's no one size fits all. You can garden your way in your location and still make it work and still be really successful. It might take a little work. It might take some trial and error. But you can do it. You can do it no matter what zone you live in. There are ways for you to succeed. So if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. Hit that like button if you like my content. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified next time my videos are posted. And share with a friend. If you have friends who talk about gardening or who may be interested in gardening, share my video with them. Let them see that I'm just a beginning gardener. I got into it heavy last year, so I'm still learning and growing. But I feel like I've learned a ton. I feel like I had a lot of success, and I'm really eager to build on that success. So until next time, hope you all have a blessed weekend and a great week to come. And I hope you guys will all return here again real soon to come grow with David A. See you guys later.